Asia?
The Manosphere.
The Manosphere.
Meet Asia's incels and anti-feminists.
Meet Asia's incels and anti-feminists.
They are young and angry and threaten to make demographic decline even worse.
They're young and angry and threaten to make demographic decline even worse.
Kim Woo-suk, a 31-year-old chef in Seoul,
Kim Woo-suk, a 31-year-old chef in Seoul,
grew up questioning the way society treats women. He felt sorry for his stay-at-home mother.
He
considered himself a feminist. But over the past few years, his opinions have shifted. When he came across women activists online, he was shocked to see some of them were making demeaning comments about men. Including making fun of small penises. I felt like my masculinity was under attack, says Mr. Kim. He believes that since the 2010s, Korean society has become more discriminatory against men than women. Although he has a girlfriend, many of those who share his beliefs in the region do not. In advanced countries, the gap between the sexes has widened. With young men tending to be more conservative. And young women tending to be more liberal. The trend is particularly striking in East Asia. Men are not adapting well to a society where women are better educated. Compete with them for jobs. And do not want to have babies with them. According to one survey in 2021, 79% of South Korean men in their 20s believe.
According to one survey in 2021, 79% of South Korean men believe
they are victims of reverse discrimination. In neighboring Japan, a survey the same year found that 43% of men aged 18 to 30 hate feminism.
That 43% of men aged between 18 to 30 hate feminism.
At first glance, this may not seem that unusual. Much of East Asia has tended to be rather patriarchal. Japan and South Korea are the worst performers in the Economist's Glass Ceiling Index.
Japan and South Korea had a survey. Japan and South Korea are the worst performers in the Economist's Glass Ceiling survey.
A measure of how women-friendly the working environment is in 29 well-off countries.
A measure of how women-friendly the working environment is in 29 countries.
In the OECD, a club of mostly rich countries, South Korea has the biggest gender pay gap. Women earn 31% less than men. In Japan, that gap is 21%.
In Japan, that gap is 29%.
In a survey in
21%.
2023 by Ipsos, a pollster,
In a survey in 2023 by Ipsos, a pollster,
72% of South Koreans agreed
72% of South Koreans agreed
that a man who stays at home to look after his children is less of a man.
the man who stays at home to look after his children is less of a man.
The highest rate in the 30 countries surveyed.
The highest rate in 30 countries surveyed.
Even so, women's lives in much of the region have improved.
Even so, women's lives in much of the regions have improved.
East Asia's sun preference is fading,
East Asia's sun preference is fading. It's fading,
with boys and girls alike expected to do well in school.
with boys and girls alike expected to do well in school.
The college enrollment rate for girls is now higher than that of boys in South Korea, China, and Taiwan.
The college enrollment of girls is higher than that of boys now in South Korea, Japan, and China and Taiwan.
In Japan, it is still higher for boys, but only by 3 percentage points.
In Japan, it is still higher. Boys are still higher than girls, but only by 3 percentage points.
Women are increasingly entering the workforce.
Women are increasingly entering the workforce.
In Japan, the employment rate for women aged 25 to 39
In Japan, women aged from 25 to 39
surpassed 80% for the first time in 2022.
surpassed 80% for the first time in 2022.
In South Korea, 74% of women aged 25 to 29 are employed.
In South Korea, 72% of women aged from 25 to 29 are employed.